how I manage trading whilst at work or at school. Now, I find this one a funny one. The reason why I'm making this video is because I had a lot of people around me. They be asking me like, "Bro, how do you trade when you're when you're at school or when you're at work? Like, how do you make that happen?" And yeah, I have noticed that I'm doing it pretty successfully. It doesn't matter if I've got school, if I've got work, if I've got a birthday party to attend, I'm gonna make sure that I trade successfully. I even put on this McDonald's t-shirt just to represent for the people struggling with this. And yeah, man. So the first thing that I always do is pre-market analysis. Now, I don't get how people they be on the markets like glued with their eyes to the charts, looking for God knows what, right? I don't believe in that. What I do is I always do a pre-market analysis. I always do pre-market analysis. So what I would do is whether it's the evening before or very early in the morning, like right now, I would literally just like pre-market analysis. So I'll look at the charts, I'll see what's up, and then I'll basically like search for what I usually look for, right? Pre-market analysis. I don't just hop on the charts and look for or hope for a setup to form when I'm coincidentally look at the charts, right? For me, it's very structured. I always I always look at the markets like way before. It's always pre-market analysis, right? And the second thing is kill zones. Now, this one really saved me a lot of time and made me so much more disciplined than I was before. Now, I trade using ICT concepts, right? So I only trade certain setups and certain times, but those times are very strict, right? So I'm living in Belgium and I usually take trades during London session because that's best for me. When it's London session, then if I obviously manage to get a trade in London session, then I don't need to wait or take another trade in the afternoon because in the afternoon I like to do other stuff, right? So my trades are always between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock, 9, 10 ish. That's when I usually take my trades. I could also take trades in New York session, so around 1 o'clock and I don't know, around 3, 3:30 CET, right? So that's how I do. I really have certain times that I trade. If it's a minute before or after, I don't trade. And I've had trades like that where I would take a trade like 1 minute outside of my kill zone or 1 minute before my kill zone, and I lost the trade, right? And ever since I was like, no, I don't care if it's a second later or before. I am not disrespecting my kill zones. So yeah, know when you trade or know when you're gonna take trades. Because that way, once again, you don't need to be glued to your charts, which is actually wasting time. And you're also more disciplined. You're not gonna randomly take trades whenever, right? You're only gonna take trades at certain times of the day. All right. So the third thing is know what you're looking for. What's the point of doing pre-market analysis and having kill zones if you don't even know what you're looking for? If you don't know what you're looking for, then you might as well just trade whenever you want, right? Or just look at the charts whenever you want because you don't know what you're looking for anyway. You need to know what you're looking for. When I do my pre-market analysis, I always know what I'm looking for. If you look at my recent trades or every trade that I document, they're always somewhat similar. They're never like different. It's never like A, B, C, D. No, it's most of them are always A. Maybe with some like certain differences, but for the most part, they're usually the same because I know what I'm looking for, right? And yeah, alongside knowing what you're looking for, you should also try identifying what you're looking for. So when I'm doing my pre-market analysis, and my pre-market analysis, by the way, is not in kill zone. It's way before. It could be before I go to sleep or very, very early in the morning, like right now. So what I actually do then when I identify what I'm looking for is, since the way I trade, I always look for the same setup anyway. What I do is I just mark everything on the charts that can help me, whether it's a fair value gap, a liquidity, uh like an important high, an important low, or like anything, like any one of these institutional levels, let's say, right? Fair value gap, liquidity pools, etc., order blocks, etc. I always like mark them out, right? I always mark them out, and then I try to determine what the daily bias can possibly be, and yeah, I also keep in mind what the trend is. If I'm seeing the trend on the 4 hour and the daily time frame is bullish, then I'm gonna be looking for bullish setups, right? I'm not gonna, well, I will also look for bearish setups if there's a possibility, but I'm mainly gonna be focused on bullish setups, right? So yeah, you need to know what you're looking for. That once again saves you time. It helps you stay disciplined, and yeah, I mean, I don't want to be just looking on the like hopping on the charts and just look at the charts just because I like how they look like or how it looks like. No, I'm looking at the charts because I'm looking for this and that, and I want to identify and mark this and that would help me later during kill zone, right? When I'm executing. So the next thing is alarms and trade prep, sorry. So with alarms, so obviously after like notifying or marking all of your order blocks, your levels, whatever strategy or the way you trade, once you've obviously identified all of that, what I do is I put on alarms. So if I see that price is, or the trend and the bias is bearish, and price is like nearing, like very close to I don't know, a fair value gap on the 4 hour time frame, a bearish fair value gap, then I'm not gonna, obviously I'm gonna know, I'm gonna identify it, I'm gonna mark it. But if I'm at school or I'm at work or God knows where, I can't be looking at my charts 24/7, waiting for, like, expecting price to like obviously mitigate that fair value gap. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put an alarm on the low of that fair value gap, and yeah, whenever it comes, then I'm just gonna get a notification, right? Now I know, all right, I need to get ready because the market has now reached my point of interest. And if my alarm does not get triggered, then that means that my point of interest has not been mitigated. Then there's no trade, and that's calm, right? So yeah, alarms, they definitely do help. Or even when I'm in a trade and there's, let's say, a certain point where I want to take partials, I will put an alarm there, and I will name it take partial. So whenever I get the alarm, then I'll obviously take my partial, right? In this case. So yeah, my alarms, they definitely do help. They help you to stay off the markets, right? And yeah, I don't want to be looking at my charts 24/7, like thinking like, when is it gonna mitigate my point of interest? Either it does or it does not. And when it does, it can notify me. If it doesn't, then I don't need to trade. Simple, right? And alongside the alarms, trade prep. That's also something that I've been doing. And yeah, with prep, what I basically mean is I only trade Euro USD and GBP USD, right? Since I trade both of these pairs, I don't want to be caught lacking on MT4 or MT5 or whatever it is and take a trade on the wrong pair, because I've had that before. I've literally like analyzed GU, and then on MT4, or when I was gonna execute, I took a trade on Euro, and yeah, that did not end up well. So what I do to like what I have been doing since ever since to avoid that is, if I know, like if I obviously notify all of my levels and that on Euro or on GP, on let's say Euro, then I will go on my MT4 or MT5, and I will already set up, like I will already put Euro, like when you can choose what pair you want to trade. I would already like put Euro instead of GU, so that way I'm not gonna like, because obviously if you're not at home, you can like make these stupid mistakes, right? So just little things like that, they also help. So I would already set it to Euro, and obviously whenever I hop onto my MT4, it's already done. My lot sizes, I already know how many lots I'm gonna be using as well. So I set all of that ready. My pair and my lot size. The only thing that I need to obviously identify, like at the time itself, is my limit. But if I'm not doing a limit, or if I'm not placing any limit, then I can just like enter off a market execution as well. So just these little things, they can honestly help. I mean, they've been helping me at least. It saves time as well, because if you're in class and you're trying to obviously do it in a slick way, you don't want to be like changing to GU or to Euro and then thinking how many lots. Like, you're wasting time. You're gonna up your chances of getting caught, right? You don't want to get caught. So to save as much time as possible, I set up everything from the start, obviously, like before. Now, the next thing is burner phones. So, what do I mean by burner phones? With burner phones, this is for people who go to school specifically, because this is what I've been doing, right? So, and everybody has like a phone or two that they used to use, but they don't use it anymore. Either it's broken or it's outdated or whatever the reason, right? Maybe you don't, but everybody has. I mean, we all know someone who doesn't need a phone, right? Now, the thing, when I was going to school, or the school that I was going to, we had to like give our phones like when we entered the class, or we had to like put it in some kind of basket, right? And I don't want to be giving them a phone, because then I can't place my trade, right? And I won't receive the notification. So what I basically did is I took a second phone with me. Like, this phone would literally be off. It wouldn't even be on. This phone would be off, and I'll just give them this phone or another phone. Sometimes I was even going to school with like 3, 4 phones, just in case. Obviously, like all the phones that like for my mom and for me myself and from other people that they didn't really need it, right? So I would just take those to school. Like, take as many as you need. Take as many as you need. And obviously, if you need to like give your phone, then you give your phone, and keep your main phone out of sight. They can't see that, right? And yeah, I mean, it's stupid maybe, but I want to trade, right? I'm gonna do everything, whatever it takes to trade, because I want to learn. I want to become better at trading. The only way I can become better at trading is if I am trading, right? And I'm not gonna let school or anything else take that away from me. So yeah, so if your school is very that strict, not all schools are that strict, but if your school is that strict, then I would recommend taking a second, third, fourth, how many you need, and make sure you don't get caught with the main phone, right? So the next one is plan your breaks. This is for work and school specifically. This is what I did as well. I would literally plan my breaks. If I know that my trades, like I take my trade during kill zone during 8 and 10 ish, or 8 and 9 ish, I would make sure that I would either go to the toilet or whatever you need to do to get out of that space, do it. That's what I did. I just got out of that space, and yeah, then obviously, but obviously only like if you know, like I know I always trade or most of the time between 8 and 9. So between 8 and 9, I would find a way to get out of the place, out of the class or wherever I am. I would find a way to get out, to go to the toilet, and then obviously execute my trade, right? And the reason why I say plan your breaks is because if you've already been, let's say you only trade between 2 and 3 p.m. If you've already been to the toilet like 6 times in the morning, in the afternoon, it's gonna become a little bit sus, right? They're gonna either not let you, especially if you go to school, they're gonna either not let you, or they're just gonna make your life hard, right? So if you're going to the toilet like 1 or 2 times, and those 1 or 2 times is when you're like active in the charts, then yeah, you've got more chance to make it out of the room. So yeah, plan your breaks wisely and use those breaks wisely to obviously manage or execute your trade. Now, the next thing is record the charts. This one is very, very big. I actually had somebody ask me this like 2 weeks ago. He also goes to school and he was like, Moses, how do you like, what should I do? Like, how can I, because he's learning to trade as well. He was like, how can I learn how to trade if I'm going to school? And I was like, bro, you have to record the charts. Even if you can't trade, even if you can't like trade or you're not like you don't have the skill to place any trades, you have to at least record the charts, right? So you can see how price action was moving after. That's what I've been doing. That's what I do every single day or every time when I trade. I always record the chart, whether I'm actively trading or I'm not at home or somewhere else. I'm always recording the charts. So I will, if I'm going to school, I will obviously do my pre-mark analysis. I most of the time take my laptop with me. But if I wasn't to take my laptop with me due to any kind of reason, I would just record the like I will before I leave home, I would put on my screen recorder and I would then record the charts. I would record the charts, like what price action was doing. Obviously, not just blindly record it, but knowing what I'm looking for, knowing what I want to see. So let's say, for example, I'm expecting a bearish run, then I want to see what's gonna happen on on the charts. Is it gonna take out that liquidity? Is it gonna stop me out? Is it gonna I want to see it, right? So I always record my trades, and later on, obviously later in the day when I get back, I look back at what happened. So recording the chart is very, very um it's very helpful, at least for me, right? And what I've also realized is trading live, like actively being like actively trading in the market, whether it's like demo, live, funded. If you're actually like actively trading, like placing trades in that is much better than just looking for your setup and then be like, oh, I would have taken a trade if I was trading live. That's easy. The difference between like actively trading live and just obviously drawing on the chart and saying I would have taken this trade is when you're drawing on the charts and you're not actively taking or placing trades, you don't like you're not feeling the pressure like of live price action. When I started trading live, especially when I bought my funded account a few months ago, I was literally like because I was never placing any trades, not even on demo. I would just be drawing on the charts and be like, oh, all right, I would have taken this trade. But when you like actually looking live at the charts and you wanna like press that button, watching price live, bro, like my heart, it felt bro, it was mad. It was a drum. It was like the pressure that it takes to even just press the button, for me at least at that time, it was very big, it was very major, right? So And when I was trading live, then at that point, it was very like I learned how to deal with the pressure. It was a pressure that I never felt before because I never placed a trade going short and then seeing price wandering waving right around my SL, right? I didn't know that pressure before because I didn't always actively take those trades. But when I was live trading, like I was getting like more used to the pressure, and I still have that pressure now, to be honest, but it's far less than it was before. So yeah, recording, it's always better to see what price action is doing live than to just back test or use replay mode. And the next best thing next to actually watching price live is to record charts. That's the next best thing. All right. And the last thing is don't get caught. Don't get caught by your boss, by your manager, by your teacher, or by your head teacher, not even by your classmate, because you never know who's gonna snitch. Just don't get caught. Do it in a very slick way. I don't remember getting caught, to be honest. There were certain times, but it was very, very minimal. I didn't really get caught much. And if I was to get caught, it would be with one of my burner phones. So yeah, don't get caught. Do it very wisely. But obviously, like, take the good out of this video and take the bad and leave it aside. Obviously, I'm not saying that you need to do this. I'm not saying this is the only method. I'm just saying this is what I've been doing and it has been working for me, right? I'm able to trade successfully even though I'm not glued to the charts like most people are, right? So yeah, man, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've got other methods, by the way, then let me know, right? Let me know if there are any other methods. I'll be open to learn them. Peace.